Welcome back to this edition of World Talks. Anna Kalczyńska, good morning. A clear-cut signal from Zagreb. Croatian President Zoran Milanović celebrated a commanding victory in the runoff round of his country's presidential election Sunday. The results of the runoff in the presidential elections are in. Incumbent Zoran Milanović has taken nearly 3/4 of the vote, securing a second term in office. In a speech on Sunday night, he said he sees his victory as a recognition of his work and a strong message to the government about the need for responsible governance of the states. To discuss the result of Croatian presidential election, I am joined by Jan Muś, expert on Balkans. Good morning, sir. Good to have you.
Good morning, madam. Thank you
for coming to the studio. So, a lawyer by formation, the Croatian president has been in office since 2020. He also served as prime minister previously. And he is being criticized for not sending soldiers to Ukraine. But exactly, can we qualify him as a pro-Russian?
We need to look at Croatia from different perspective. The ongoing war in Ukraine is an abstract issue for most of the Croatian people. It's far away. It doesn't hit them directly, and therefore President Milanović uses this issue to this and uses his populist rhetoric to gather political support and successfully, as we can see, win the presidential elections. But I wouldn't call him a pro-Russian politician.
All right. And what does this outcome mean exactly for the Croatian foreign policy? What can we expect from the second term of Milanović?
We are expecting conflict with a government of Andrej Plenković around defense area. The government has prepared two bills to be adopted, and President Milanović, who is superior of the armed forces in Croatia, will likely try to discuss it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this turnout is not very high, 44%. What does it tell us about the activity of the Croatian society?
44% is low, but the result was known already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
expected.
Expected, right? The Milanović has superiority here over the Primorac, over the opposing candidate.
So Milanović has been the most popular politician, right, in Croatia?
We can say so, and this has some implications. Firstly, we see there is the ongoing ruling coalition of HDZ, of the Croatian Democratic Union, that has been in power with some short breaks since 1990, is losing support. Its candidate did not gain support that this party is usually winning over some elections. On the other hand, we see that the political opposition in Croatia is also not able to generate some serious counter candidacy here.
Despite considerable amount of money spent, because Primorac spent nearly 4 times more compared to Milanović. So was Milanović so good, or Primorac was such a bad candidate?
Both. I mean, Milanović knows very well how to speak to the voters, to the Croats, to the people in the region. From what I understand, the campaign was boring. Most of the candidates were talking about issues that do not really belong to presidency in Croatia. Milanović was rather quiet here. He was not arguing a lot as he used to previously in the social media. So that was very strange presidential campaign, but apparently successful for Milanović. Apparently he's the main winner, and his main message here. Da se ne lažemo, let's be honest, to the government. It was the clear message that the current government is losing support, and nobody really, except of him, nobody really knows how to.
There was also a corruption case in the government, right?
There were
Related to the health minister.
30 ministers of current prime minister resigned over the last several years due to corruption charges. 30 ministers and vice ministers. I mean, that shows the problem this country is facing, and it shows the level of the frustration of Croatian voters here that decided to vote for a president who is at least controversial, to put it mildly.
So that could also translate in the low turnout, I imagine.
Well, as well. I mean, but Croats, I see Croats as people who are politically determined. I mean, they see there are some forces here they just cannot overvote, and public opinion polls were indicating that the Milanović will win. Public opinion polls also shown that the counter candidates are not really valuable to the Croatian voters, and therefore many people just didn't go out for the elections.
No surprises then?
No surprises, and Croatia has a parliamentary political system. The powers of president are rather limited here.
And so what is the current economic situation in Croatia? What are the main areas of concern for the voters?
Croatia has the same problem basically since 1990s. It's trying to modernize its economy. Recently it has joined the European Eurozone, adopted euro as its currency, and with this regard the current government has very neoliberal approach. Andrej Plenković, the prime minister, believed that adopting euro in Croatia, despite the relatively low economic level of development of this country, will bring investments to the country that are needed for economic development and bringing welfare to Croats. It did not happen for various reasons, but it did not happen. And there is plenty of areas of public services, of health system, of transportation, of education that since a long time require to be properly addressed, and they are not, basically. So.
All right.
So we face this problem here in Croatia.
So there's going to be clear conflict with the prime minister, apparently, on the domestic field, and in the
personal field, on the personal fields too. The two major senior opponents here, they had a lot of
issues between them. And as far as foreign policy is concerned, can we expect some changes, given also the anti-Western statements by Milanović?
Well, Milanović based his expression about the European Union on the lack of legitimacy of the European Union institutions, and claims that Russia is no threat to no one, and so on and so on. So this was very much controversial. This could be if this topic would be presented by a journalist or analyst or an academician, we could discuss it. But such a statements by head of state bring another connotations here. And as a president, he cannot do too much. As a president of Croatia, he cannot really change the course of the politics dramatically.
He doesn't have the veto power, right?
He doesn't have the veto power. He represents the country, but the foreign policy and defense policy is basically a lead by the government, by the Council of the Minister, by Prime Minister. What's interesting is the election of Donald Trump set up the new political landscape in the Western world, to put it this way, and therefore the positions and approach represented by Milanović is not an exception anymore. He is finding himself in a growing, group of politicians with populist approach to the politics, and therefore maybe his position in international relations will be stronger than expected, than we could now anticipate. But this will depend on the Donald Trump.
So we understand that his powers are quite limited, but how about the backing of Milanović? Is he going to evolve in some kind of political force? Does he want to build a party, perhaps?
I would expect he will build his own political platform. For main opposition party, the party from which he's originated, the SDP, Social Democratic Party, is not very much flexible. They support him because they have no better candidate, but there is conflict, there has been conflict between Milanović and SDP, and therefore he also start behaving much more independent and turn towards populism because he was independent from his put it this way, mother party, SDP. But I think he would like to establish his own organization on his own, with his own people and his own rules. I would do that on his place.
Interesting times ahead, also for Croatia. Thank you very much, Jan Muś, a Balkan expert, was our guest today in the show. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching this edition of World Talks. Please stay tuned to TVP World. We're coming next with next features and news.